Kylian Mbappe, the young king of France who brought his nation the World Cup trophy at the age of 19. A lot has been said about Mbappe, and some people are already quick to praise him as the soon-to-be best player in the world. But in the years to come, can he possibly reach the same GOAT status and take over Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, both in terms of records and legacy?
That's exactly what we're here to discuss today, and before we get any further, our point number one, we're gonna look at some stats.
Indeed, and stat-wise, Mbappe has quite a mountain to climb to match what Messi and Ronaldo have produced for a good decade. Since the 08-09 season, Messi has continuously scored 30-plus goals in every season, and the same can be said about Ronaldo, who's backed over 30 goals all the way back from 2007, except for in the 08-09 season. Both of them have 5 Ballon d'Ors, and CR7 has 5 national championships and 5 UEFA Champions League titles to his name against Messi's 9 championships and 4 Champions League victories. But already at age 19, Mbappe has scored 20-plus goals in the league, where CR7 scored only around 10, and Messi between 16 and 18 goals depending on how you count it. On the international side, Mbappe is already somewhat ahead of the two, as neither Messi nor Ronaldo ever won the World Cup, which Mbappe did at age 19. Now we could go on and on about all the ridiculous goal-scoring records Messi and Ronaldo have broken and created over the years, but hopefully this goes to show you that stat-wise, one thing Mbappe definitely needs is consistency and a ton of goals over the next 10 years to be even considered in the company of Messi and Ronaldo. And the last stat you can directly be part of is our journey towards 2 million subscribers. So if you enjoy videos like this one, it would mean the world to us if you subscribe right now and join the family.
Well, as they say, the stats never lie, but we do have some other points as well. Number 2. Rivalry.
We've seen all the big rivalries. You know, we've had Pele, Maradona, we have right now Messi, Ronaldo. He needs someone to play ball against for it to be a really epic rivalry that people will remember forever.
You know, there's something about competition.
Yes.
You know, like the healthy competition, and just Mbappe, he needs somebody.
What Mbappe also needs is to win something other than the World Cup. He needs to win, obviously, a lot more championships in France. He's probably going to do that, but he also needs to win in other leagues, just to prove that he can do it at the highest level.
And on a consistent basis.
Yes.
We've all seen players, these one-hit wonders. Again, not saying Mbappe is a one-season wonder, but we've seen guys who've, you know, go in and out, maybe win a championship or two. But, you know, to do it for 10 plus years in a row, that's where the key comes in. But also, the next point after that, I know we've touched on stats. We just talked about winning trophies. But there's something in the game of football where, you know, sometimes you need moments. Mbappe is gonna need plenty of moments that go beyond any trophies or any goal-scoring stats.
There was a Dane who once said that stats are like miniskirts. They show you a lot of things, but they always hide the most important things.
Wow, what a quote.
The stats, yes, they can give you a lot, but he needs those moments where everyone just stands up in unison, agreeing, look, we are watching a truly fine football player, someone extraordinary here, and he needs those on top of winning consistently in the big leagues. Winning the Champions League is also going to be important for him.
Now, what people will always say is that Mbappe has already won the World Cup. Messi and CR7, what's up with the World Cup trophies? To me, these moments we just talked about, this is the GOAT shit for me, you know? He's definitely gonna break all kinds of records in his time.
Probably.
He's already done that to some extent in some areas, but only time will tell. Now, this is obviously Unisport Q&A episode 29. We discussed Mbappe in the beginning. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're gonna move on to the rest of the questions in football! And I'm gonna kick it off. Do pro footballers actually wear new boots every day?
No. You know, obviously they get sent a lot of boots by Nike and Adidas and Puma, whoever sponsors them, and they wear maybe one pair of boots for matches and one pair of boots for training, because they like to feel that comfort. Do you think that showing off in football should be stopped? At the point where it becomes humiliating, okay, maybe people should slow down a little bit, but we need showing off, we need the spectacular, and okay, I don't want to see humiliation for the sake of humiliation.
And not circus football.
Exactly. I don't want to see that stuff, but the showing off the skills, the extraordinary, trying the wild stuff for the sake of making it spectacular and entertaining. Oh, I'm all for it. Give it to me.
Me too. Like, at the end of the day, football is entertainment. Football is nothing without the fans, and the fans love entertainment.
And with that said, you know, the entertainers should also be ready for the thugs to come and kick them down, because they take the piss. Last question in football, how do you meet the pros? Do you invite them or something?
Yo, we see this nowadays, you know, whenever we post something with a pro player, people ask, how did you get Bale? How much did you pay Messi to shoot the crossbar challenge? I understand the confusion, especially if those comments are coming from people who are not like regular viewers. Obviously, we are a football store. We sell football equipment, like new football boots.
Yes.
And obviously, that makes us great friends with the brands who manufacture and make the football boots. And since we have a big audience and we can also help grow their business, they can see, hey, if we let these guys hang out with Messi and Griezmann, perhaps it will be great for business. That's long story very short.
Yeah, they invite us to come and talk to the players.
It's not like we send Messi like X amount of millions to,
What's up, dude? You want to come shoot with us? That's not how it works. So,
but I understand the confusion. Yeah. And with those words,
we move on to Real Talk. Let me take the first one. What has been the most embarrassing fail of your life? Oof. Can I just say my life in general? I think one of the biggest fails of my football life I can think of just very recently is when we went to shoot with Keto Bale and Jibril Sadiba in Monaco. And we have this scoring challenge, right? And we just come on the back of the same challenge with the free kickers. And it was going well, and I was scoring goals, and I scored nothing. Absolutely nothing. And we end up losing the challenge because I scored nothing.
Yo, I have a great story. Let's go 10, 15 years back.
Wow.
In Finland.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, some kind of Euros, World Cup qualifications thing. And there's like this kind of like halftime campaign. If you score penalties in the halftime, you can win money. You could like buy some Pepsi and maybe get a code, and you could play this online game, or you could send in your skills video. I send in my skills video. I make it to the finals. I'm not kidding. In the halftime of the national team match, the winner gets 10,000 euros.
Wow.
I'm playing against a nerd who has never played football in his life.
Wow.
And a grandma. And J-Mike.
You lost.
I missed the penalty.
How did you miss the penalty?
I think it was because, you know, we had like 5 minutes to warm up. There was like a pro goalkeeper in the goal. He could see that I was a football player.
Yeah.
So he only tried to save mine. The other two guys, he was still standing in the middle, and I think it was the nerd who won. Like
Makes
so
sense.
that was definitely the biggest fail of my life. 10,000 euros, boom.
I'm really confused. In some of the games, I play exceptionally good, but in some games, I'm playing the game. It's like I'm playing the game for the very first time. Is this happening to everyone? I think it happens to everyone to some extent, that you have good games, you have bad games. This is what separates the amateurs from the pros. That the pros can play well even though they have a bad day. They're so good that their bad day is still very, very high level.
I think it also comes down to age a lot. All the coaches, they know that the young talents like 18 and whatever, when they go to the top level, their performances will go up and down like this because they don't have the consistency, yes, they don't have the experience, they don't have maybe the tools to keep their bad days at this level still.
But with those words, we move into the boot bag.
I'm gonna start.
All right.
What is the most iconic boot there is?
Predator material.
I would just give it to Predator.
What company other than Mizuno makes the best leather boots? The best leather boots other than Mizuno, I would point to Adi right now and say the Copa 19 Plus. It's a piece of work, but there's no one out there, and no one is even close to Mizuno. I'm just gonna put it like that. For the leather boots, if you want a leather boot and you want the best, go Mizuno. It's gonna cost you, but it's worth it.
Lovely. How good is the Puma Future on AG pitches, since they only have an AG FG version?
It works if you play on 4G. If you play on 3G, I would probably go for a boot that has a dedicated AG not AGFG, but dedicated AG outsole, since it is a little more rough on the boots, it is a little more rough on your knees. 4G is closer to normal grass, and it's, the boots doesn't get stuck as much as they tend to do in 3G or older generations. What are the best boots for skinny feet? And that's a very good question, because what is a skinny foot? Like, clearly you don't have a skinny foot because your foot is flat and wide. I really like the Copa 19 Plus. That's relatively good for narrow-footed people. The Mercurial, obviously, because it has a relatively narrow fit in the midfoot. And also the Nemesis, I would also point to, because it is super, super tight. And the less you have to stretch it, well, for me, the better. A boot like the X18.1 Morelia Neo is insanely narrow. That's just a statement right there. And with that bombshell, we move on to the giveaway.
And you, my good sir, J-Mike, throw in the question. Whew. Lovely. Mr. Ansh Gianni, your favorite boot of 2019 so far and why? And you're gonna be winning a piece of clothing from the PSG X Jordan collab. Swag approved. But J-Mike, we're gonna be in touch.
It's going to be a tight race, obviously, between the two big ones, the Future 19s and the Phantom Venoms.
I haven't tried either of them yet. Like, not even tried them on.
You'll love the Futures. It's going to be very tough for me between the low-cut Futures and the Phantom Venoms, but I think I'm going to go with the Phantom Venoms.
Well, that was easy.
But I would say both are, you're probably going to prefer the low-cut Futures. They're very much like a slightly thicker version of the Hypervenom ones.
That's what you keep telling me.
Now we move on to the question of the month. And it is from Sema Rana. Do you think the hype around mid boots is dying? Definitely a big fat yes.
100%. It's actually a great question, but the hype is definitely dying. However, the technology is probably not going anywhere because it is somewhat comfortable to a lot of people, and a lot of people seem to enjoy the fit that it provides, and like the mid-cup boot.
It's an alternative, right?
It's a great alternative.
So the brands have kind of realized that they need a high version, they need a low version of some of the boots. And I think, there is still a demand. The hype has gone, but the demand is still there. It's like the hype around leather boots had died for a long time, but the brand still made leather boots. So I think we're gonna see this, but not as a hype elite, super duper fly, this is the reason to buy this boot because it's high cut. It needs something more, I feel. Some people like it tight, some people like leather, it's about what you want, and it's a great alternative, but definitely the hype is dead. What's also dead is our time here. So what you should do now is, if you want to get featured in the next episode of Q&A, you should leave us your great questions right in the comment section below. Now, if you want to buy either the high cut or the low cuts, or the Futures, or the Phantom Venoms, everything your heart desires football-wise, you can go and click the link to our store right over there. You should also go and subscribe with the notifications on to see all our latest videos right over there, and then go learn some very cool skills by clicking right down there. With that said, guys, we're signing off. Cheerio.